Hello, and welcome to Popcorn News. Something to watch while you eat popcorn. And gone are Phidias's famous ivories, and all the golden grasshoppers and bees. Human history is much longer than is usually supposed. The Stone Age was not the beginning. The Stone Age was just the aftermath of the fall and degeneration of previously existing civilizations. The Great Laboratory did not begin with Homo sapiens. Earlier experiments were tried. Some of these we now call fly, bee, and ant. Eventually, Adam and Eve were issued from the Great Laboratory, and they appeared on Earth. From the Great Laboratory we issued, but we did not know where to go from there. We ourselves did not develop a culture back then. We received help from the powers which created us. But then we made a mistake. We regarded ourselves as higher than we were. We decided that we ourselves, on our own, could decide what is good and what is evil. Eve ate the apple from the tree of knowledge of good and evil and handed it to Adam. Before the time of Adam and Eve, insects had been issued from the Great Laboratory. Among these were the ants and the bees. They too had once been in the vanguard of evolution. The original organization of the beehive and the anthill in the remote past required great powers of reasoning and logic. Long ago, the ants had been much larger. The Russian philosopher P.D. Ouspensky says that Pliny the Elder recorded in Book 3 of his natural history giant ants in Tibet. I cannot find this in Book 3 of Pliny. However, in Book 11 of Pliny is recorded ants the size of Egyptian wolves in Dardai, a region of northern India. And northern India is in the vicinity of Tibet. The mistake made by the ants was that they became convinced they themselves knew what was good and what was evil. Their mistake was much more wrong because the ancient ants and bees were not so naive as Adam and Eve. The mistake made by the ancient ants and bees arrested their evolution and altered their very being. They had decided that the individual was to be subjugated to the community, and thereby was destroyed any possibility for an individual to develop and separate themselves from the general masses. And yet, it was precisely this development of individuals and the possibility of them separating from the general masses which constituted the aim of nature and allowed for further evolution. And thus it happened that the thinking capacities of the ants and bees became to be considered as absolutely unnecessary in a well-organized anthill or beehive. And these thinking capacities became atrophied. From that point, automatic habits began to be handed down to successive generations, and what had once been the vanguard of evolution became mere insects as we now know them. Thank you for watching Popcorn News. Many ingenious, lovely things are gone that seemed sheer miracle to the multitude. Protected from the circle of the moon that pitches common things about, there stood, amid the ornamental bronze and stone, an ancient image made of olive wood, and gone are Phidias's famous ivories, and all the golden grasshoppers and bees.